Hey everybody, welcome to N750 Foxtrot Tango. I'm Fred Thomas and this is my 750 stol. We're here at EAA 129, getting ready for an open house tomorrow. Gonna kind of show off the plane. Here she is. We're about 20 hours into phase one, halfway. It's a 2015 edition 3 kit. It's got the factory Tundra tires, Corvair 3-liter engine. If anybody has a suggestion for a better tire than the golf cart tire you get with this thing, I'm willing to take it. But it's working for now. Got the Aero tires. I think they're 21-inch. Seems to work pretty well. Got the Wiseman cowling kit, the Fly Corvair nose bowl. She ain't too pretty. I've opened her up a bit. Probably gonna redo that in the future. But, you know, gets decent cooling. You can't climb at 55 miles an hour all day. You're gonna get hot, but that might be an unreasonable expectation, I'm not sure. Got the Aero LEDs, wig-wag, landing, etc. Factory pitot tube. What else do we have? Got some interesting features back here on the tail. Got an ELT inside a nice hatch here. I've got my tri-purpose fairing toolbox ballast set up back here. This is just mounted with some pieces of angle. Custom filed that and sanded it. Front edge fairing behind this here part. Well, you've got a toolbox. It just sits in here under the tail. You pull these off. I've got some hinges. You can pull the lid off. Yeah, it's something. You know, I think there's 6 pounds in there. And unless you were to put like 2 adults, full fuel, and something in the baggage compartment, it's not going to be out of FCG. Helps you get the nose wheel off a little better, maybe. Got the, I think that's a Cessna tile little drag hook thing, and then I think this piece came from Zenith. What else do we have back here? Oh, I made a little mod. I moved the top of the horn up. I don't know how well you can see it. Everybody knows that the interference in between the spar and the horizontal tail and the cable is a little bit tight on these. Done a few different things. Thanks John Austin, Zenith Aero. Spent about 4 years on that website, you know, studying and looking at everybody's posts. Thanks everybody that posts their stuff up to zenith.aero. Got a doubler on there with a bunch of bolts. I only raised the horn maybe 1/4 of an inch, so it's twice as thick. It's got several extra bolts in it, and it doesn't rub. What else do we got? We got some access panels from George Race. Yeah, so you can undo the fuel. We've got the braided hoses everywhere. 15 gallons, extended tanks. Here's the passenger side and the cockpit. So you have the passenger brakes. I have a passenger throttle, but it's not hooked up. Creates a little bit more drag than I'd like in the system. Show you the pilot side here. We got the Zenith interior kit. I haven't hooked up the boot yet or anything. Got a fire extinguisher mounted back here. Got the Aero documents. Got the headset jacks. Kind of hard to see right there in the back, so you can just throw your headsets in the back, or you can hang them up here. And then have these other access panels from Georgia Race right here in the floor. If you want to get to stuff, there isn't much down there. I got an antenna and some wires. Here's the baggage back there. Next to that, you'll see a couple rivets right there. There's a bracket with the magnetometer, and then that hatch if you want to get to the magnetometer. And it's just about as easy to get it through the underside hole, but you know, you got that option. There's my fuel hose coming into the back of the channel there, and all the wiring. See, it's the Teflon braided hoses. They run down, they run in the center channel. Oh, you could even see them down in here. Let's take a look. There they are. They both run down the pilot side here. Got the grommet at the front. Nothing rubs in there. It's nice. The and air 3-way fuel valve, carb heat, parking brake, cabin heat. All of that seems to work pretty well. I can't have carb heat and cabin heat. I only got one box, so as soon as you pull the carb heat, you got no cabin heat. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. Got the Innovate air fuel hooked to it's a 5-wire O2 sensor, so you can lean it out a little bit. I've got the carb a little bit rich still. Had some issues with that. It runs pretty rich, but better safe than sorry. Got the GTX 327, got that used. Got the Grand Rapids EIS, 600, 6000, whatever. Got the MGL V6 COM, works pretty well. Got the fake carbon fiber wrap on there. This whole panel comes out. This half, although it'd be pretty tricky with the short wires that I got back there, but you could. Or if you need to get back there, pretty easy to pull the EFIS out. We got the GRT Sport. It's 8.5 inch, I think. Got your master, alternator. Come over here, trim indicator. You've got the Corvair, has either points or electronic ignition, so you can reach your flaps. Mixture, throttle, starter, it's all right there on your left hand. On your right hand, we got the trim on the stick. Push to talk, the left and right buttons don't do anything. Got push to talk on the other stick. Right there. Got some pretty sweet light. I can show you the lights running, I guess. If we go left on both of them, we got the maximum amount of recognition. Merry Christmas. And since I turned on the master, here comes the EFIS. We can turn the lights off. I'm real happy with the Grand Rapids setup. Does everything it needs to. And of course, if you need them for some tech support, they're very good about that. Message, oil pressure low, that's no good. Of course, this overvolt, it has the BNC crowbar on it. So when you flip that, there's a relay. And then we got the CompuFire voltage regulator. Works out pretty well. You can... I tend to fly this. Or, you know, every now and then there's a couple things I don't have on the main screen. Or you can do the map with engine instruments and your airspeed and altitude. That's a pretty sweet screen there. I really don't mind it. So yeah, just throttle, mixture. Don't have an indicator for the flaps, but it's pretty easy to just look out the window. It is easy also to forget what you're doing and leave them down, so gotta be careful with that. But there she be. It's got a safe fly and UAvionics Echo UAT. SafeFly is the GPS. So GPS 2 lost. Well, we're in a building right now. But anyway, so that works. Don't see any. Well, there's some traffic on the screen right there. Pretty sweet. Might save your butt someday. Mostly see a lot of airlines, but I saw like our club airplane taxiing in the hangar behind us the other day. That was pretty cool. Works out right nice. Give you a quick look at the engine here. See if anybody is into Corvairs, they can maybe see what we did with her. There's what you can see with the nose bowl off. Not a whole lot. Maybe you can see my custom throttle bracket down in there. The cables come in the top, and then there's a bell crank and a short push rod. That's with the carburetors backwards on these, so you would have to either loop the cable around from the front to rear or make a linkage like this. People have gotten creative with her, and this is my little setup. It's probably a good 10-20 hours in there, but it's all I don't know if you can see, there's cotter pins and everything on factory drilled bolts and aluminum extrusions that I make. I'm a glazer, so got a little creative with it. Do a lot of aluminum work. Got the oil separator, got the Viking steel springy Springema Springer. Doesn't work real well with the Corvair mount. Had to grind out some clearance. You know, I'm not unimpressed by it. It's performed what it needs to. We've already you know, put her through her paces a bit, and she hasn't complained. So far the steel bungee's working. I would like to get the new puck system that wasn't available when I was building this, but you know, see if there's anything over here you want to see. There's a battery. Had an EarthX, threw it out. Won't get into that. Don't think I would use one in a plane. Definitely wouldn't have it in the cabin. I had it in the back of the firewall. It was a pretty neat setup, but you know, this little Odyssey 545, it starts the engine fine. Doesn't cost much, doesn't weigh much. Nothing to see here really, just some wires. Comes over and across, because the battery used to be on the pilot side on the back of the firewall. Here's my EGT setup, or I'm sorry, O2 sensor, map sensor, that kind of thing. This is the warp drive prop. It's 8.5 degree pitch. Currently, you know, it's adjustable, so that's what they recommended, and it's, you know, gives me the right static, and it seems to work pretty well. You know, I think the airspeed's a little high, reads a little high, but I'm getting close to 100 miles an hour wide open, which is what Zenith says. You know, maybe 800, 900 feet a minute lightly loaded. It's cold, it's super cold. This is Midwest, negative 200 feet, 2,000 feet density altitude a lot of the times when I'm flying it. You know, but at only 55 mile an hour, I think 800-900 feet a minute is it's pretty steep. We'll continue to see. Who knows what it takes off in? How are you going to measure 100 or 200 feet? Really, pretty tricky to do. Had it up to 10,000 feet. It was still climbing, so you know, not climbing a ton. I think, you know, we might have need leaned out more, but here she is, 750 Foxtrot Tango. I hope you enjoyed. If you got any comments, leave them. You know, maybe you see something that's gonna kill me. Have a good one.